progress.
Good evening, everyone. This is the Board of Selectmen meeting on Thursday, the 7th, 2024. This meeting is being recorded and broadcast via our local cable access channel, WCAT, Zoom, Facebook, and YouTube. If anyone in the audience is recording, please let us know. Just as a friendly reminder, will you direct to the board, please say your name and where you live, so we can get that recorded as well. To start, I'm going to ask everyone to stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So first, we have our final discussion and review of November 21st, 2024 special town meeting warrant with an anticipated vote to close, sign, and post the warrant. Town Administrator?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. So before you this evening are articles that have been reviewed by the Finance Committee as well as Town Council for the upcoming November 21st special town meeting. We have 29 articles this year, and all are from various departments with some various cleanup efforts that would need to be addressed for some of the bills, as well as putting money away into savings for the town. Happy to answer any questions that the board may have.
Thank you, Jim. And this is what we reviewed this morning?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm good with it. I
Good?
read through them all. They're good.
Well, my only question is the one I asked about, I guess, still is, what is 29 for? Because
So-
we're closed on Saturdays anyway, right?
Yes, so the town clerk has asked for this local adoption to be placed on the warrant, so that if it's signaled that this local adoption has been adopted by the community, that she can, instead of having to be open on a Saturday for a registration, that she could be doing it on a Friday.
Okay. Does she do many on Saturday?
Mm-hmm.
That happen to fall, yeah.
A lot.
Or can't she just say,
Mm-mm.
I'm not open?
Well, you have to adopt this statute, and if you want to choose another day.
Huh, okay,
It's up to the town to say yes or no, so
yeah.
give it to town to vote.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with it, but I was just curious what it was about. Okay.
I'm
Okay,
good with
so-
it.
So we are good? Do
I'm good.
we have any more discussion?
Nope.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to close the warrant for the special town meeting and sign and post the warrant in the appropriate places.
Do I have a second?
Second,
All in favor?
David Dufresne, aye.
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye. Motion approved.
Thank you.
Police Department monthly report.
Good evening, Jerry Millette, Police Chief. How's everyone today?
Very good, thank you.
For the month of October, the department logged 1,418 calls, investigated 9 felonies, had 52 incident reports, 2 on-view arrests, 2 warrant arrests, 35 summons for a total of 39, 1 protective custody, 6 juvenile arrests, 124 motor vehicle stops, and 48 citations. In the month. At the beginning of the month, I attended my monthly Homeland Security meeting. On the 2nd, along with day shift officers, we assisted at the schools for bus evacuation. And then on the 3rd, Detective Moran, Officer Bell, and I instructed the 7th grade on ALICE protocols. On the 6th, I had the pleasure of walking in for the 5th time in the Jimmy Fund Walk to Cure Cancer. My daughter joined me, and we walked from Dana-Farber to the State House. It was a great day. It was beautiful out. On the 8th, I attended a department head meeting put on by the town administrator, where we had a presentation by insurance company Maya. On the 9th, I attended the Central Mass Chiefs of Police monthly meeting. On the 16th, I attended the school safety committee meeting. We discussed the upcoming safety drill we were having. That drill was executed on the 28th at all 3 schools in the district, which all 3 schools did very well. On the 23rd, Detective Moran conducted an ALICE training here for all our town employees. On the 26th, I attended the school's trunk or treat event. Officer Shea also assisted me. And I do have to thank my daughter. She created our trunk, which was the Up theme from the movie Up. We had the house with the balloons. I can't believe we didn't win. I'm gonna have to talk to Mr. Duff about that. On the 29th, I met with Erin McMurray. Erin works with that, we have the social workers through the Board of Health?
Yes.
Board of Health. The Middletown's Public Health Group. So she's actually gonna be coming in front of you guys. They're looking to put together a grant to put Knox locks boxes. It's got Narcan, CPR equipment in it. It's kinda like the.
Stop the bleed.
Yeah, Stop the Bleed boxes. It looks like that, but it's with Narcan. They're gonna come in front of you guys and put on a presentation. She came to me first to show me the box and what she wants to bring in front of you. So she did that to me. She'll be coming in front of you guys later on to see if you guys wanna put these boxes in the town buildings. And then, finally, on the 31st, I attended the town-wide trick-or-treat event. The fire department puts it on every year. They do a great job. It ends with the parade from North Street to Station B, and then I have Adam lets me judge the contest, which is always a good time. I always feel bad when the kids going on. I don't choose them, but I enjoy it.
Thank
Very
you.
good.
Very good.
Just 2 more things. It's not on here, but we did submit a grant. We're gonna try a federal grant for a drone, as well as education materials for me to go into the schools for bike safety, things like that. So it was about $17,000 we're asking for. We submitted it just at the end of this month. Hopefully you get it, knock on wood. And then the parking ban. I know it's on here, but the parking ban starts November 15th and goes to April 1st. There's no on-street parking from midnight to 6 a.m. And more importantly, no on-street parking during any winter event. That's so that they can plow and sand. We just gotta make sure those cars are off the road.
Thank
Any
you very
questions?
much, Chief.
No, we're good. Any questions?
Nope.
Thank you. Next, we have acknowledgement of the following resignations with notification made to the town clerk. A, James Landro, highway driver laborer. B, Vincent McQuiggy, town's representative to the Quabog Valley Business Assistance Corporation. Next, we have discussion and possible vote to appoint the following individuals to the following positions with notification made to the town clerk. Anticipated vote. A, Gary Fitzgerald, part-time clerk. B, George Poleshuk to the Warren Cultural Council for a 3-year term. And C, Daniel Thibodeau to the Community Development Advisory Committee for a 1-year term. Sir?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I just, we have Gary Fitzgerald in the audience this evening. We have been trying to fill the vacant part-time clerk's position in the Board of Assessors office. Gary Fitzgerald is a Warren resident who applied for the position, who was interviewed for the position, and is ultimately being recommended and brought in front for the board for consideration tonight for the position. He's got a vast experience in private business. He's a veteran and has been living in town for quite some time. He seems very courteous and nice, and is well-versed in customer service, and we're bringing his name forward for consideration to fill that vacant clerk's position in the Board of Assessors.
Do you have anything to say?
No, I'm Gary Fitzgerald, I live on Coy Hill Road. Been in town for 7.5 years, and but I want to serve the town, so.
That's awesome. Thank you very
Nice
much.
to meet you, sir. Thank you very much. So I'll make a motion to approve Gary Fitzgerald as the assessor clerk, starting at grade C2, step 1, for 19 hours per week.
Do you have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
David Dufresne, aye.
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye. Motion passes.
Mr. Chairman, if I also may, I want to mention that the assessors are very excited to have Gary. So they were also included in the process, and they reviewed all the resumes, and we included them in the process, and they're really happy to have Gary as
That's
part of
very
the
good.
team.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So next we have George Polishuk.
Is that Polshar?
Yes, Polshon?
Polishuk.
Yep. So he submitted a request, Mr. Chairman, to serve on the Warren Cultural Council. I believe he submitted to Karen. And I think he was on before, and then he had to take some time off, and now he's looking to be reappointed again.
Can we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to appoint George Polshuk to the Warren Cultural Council for a 3-year term.
Do you have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
David Dufresne, aye.
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye. Motion approved. Next we have Dan.
So, Mr. Chairman, this evening we have a request from Dan Thibodeau, who would like to serve on the Community Development Advisory Committee, the CDAC Committee, and he has sent in a letter of interest to the board for consideration tonight. He is also with us this evening. Or was.
No, he's there.
He's there. Oh,
We do have an empty position there?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Any questions?
No,
We know Dan.
a little bit.
Yeah, we all know, Dan.
See him once or
You
twice.
good?
yeah.
Oh, good, unless you want me to say something.
No, we know you. Do you have a
All
motion,
right.
please?
I'll make a motion to appoint Daniel Thibodeau to the Community Development Advisory Committee for a 1-year term.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
David Dufresne, aye.
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye. Motion approved. Thank you, Dan. Next, we have a discussion and possible vote to enter into a contract with Weston and Sampson for planning and design services for the Town Common Improvement Project. Anticipated vote.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before the board this evening is for consideration a contract between the town and Weston and Sampson. The town is a recipient of CDBG funds. One of the projects in the CDBG is to improve the town common. And this contract before you is for design and services for the town common project. This was sent out for a formal procurement, and Weston and Sampson did come back, and after the review committee reviewed the proposal, is recommending Weston and Sampson to be awarded the contract so that this project can move forward. This is also a recommended project through the CDAC committee, and this is for the design of a new town common.
Thank you. Do you have any questions?
No, I'm just very excited about this. It's coming forward, it's getting done.
Little by
We've
little.
been talking about this for a while, and
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
that,
It's good.
that common needs to be done over. So, it's gonna be
Excellent.
great.
We move forward with a motion?
And I will make a motion to enter into a contract with Weston and Sampson for the planning and design services for the Town Common Improvement Project.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
David Dufresne, aye.
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye. Motion approved.
Mr. Chairman, I'm asking for Weston and Sampson contract for the new Reed Street Culvert Replacement Project at Tufts Brook to be tabled till next week, because I just got it back from Town Council's review, that we have some adjustments to make with Weston and Sampson, and they should have it back to me by next week.
Okay with me, okay with you guys?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, it's tabled.
Thank you.
Next, discussion and possible vote to enter into a contract with Energy Conservation, Inc. for a weatherization improvements at the Senior Center and Shepherd Municipal Building. Anticipated vote.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. So, Energy Conservation, Inc. Is a partner with National Grid, with a utility company. They are on the preferred vendor list with National Grid, expedited vendor list with National Grid. They have experience with doing these types of projects. This particular project is exempt under Chapter MGL Chapter 25A, Section 14, for energy resources project for local procurement. This was awarded to us via a grant that the town applied for green communities. So all of this entire project will be funded through that Green Communities grant. The town was awarded about $201,000 recently. So the weatherization project will be for the senior center and for the Shepherd Municipal Building. We'll do a complete weatherization of the entire buildings. They have the scope, the detailed scope of work in your packets, with pictures and different things that they're going to address. The weatherization at the senior center, the installation cost is $20,983. In the Shepherd Building is $67,948 for a total of $88,931, all covered under a state grant. Both projects have a projected annual cost savings of energy efficiencies. For the senior center, we're projecting an annual cost savings of about a little over $1,200, and at the Shepherd Building, a little bit over $3,700 annually in utility savings and in energy costs. So it's a win-win project for the town to get this done. The weatherization, the company is booking out for another month and a half or so. I don't anticipate them starting the weatherization until probably after Christmas. And the heat pump project, which is the next item on the list, I'm anticipating that to be started sooner, probably by mid-November. We are going to have a construction meeting next week with Energy Conservation. The Senior Center Director is going to be there as well on the phone, just to go over what we, any possible inconveniences that are going to be at the Senior Center, where people, are going to have a little exercise, a little more caution around, around the area. There'll be trucks there. There'll be people working in the area to do the installation of the heat pumps. And there'll be minimal disruption, but there could be some disruption. So we're going to be planning for that, as well as, disposal and setup and work zone around the senior center. We're going to all go through that next week. So both of these projects are moving forward.
How long do they anticipate to take to do the heat pump?
They anticipating about maybe a little bit less than a week.
All this reminds me, remember when I brought that heat detector?
Yeah.
And we pointed at that at that wall, and look, there's a leak on that window, and then we found out it was open.
Yeah.
Okay,
Do it every
sounds
time.
good.
So I'll make a motion to enter into a contract with Energy Conservation, Inc. for the weatherization improvements at the Senior Center and the Shepherd Municipal Building.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
David Dufresne, aye.
Rich Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye. Motion approved.
Thank you.
All right, wait,
We're gonna do the same for
the one
7,
we
or
just
this
did.
is for both?
This 7 is different, yep, for heat pumps, yep.
6, this is 6.
So item number 7, the heat pumps, this is also gonna have a gas backup. So, if it gets brutally cold, and historically heat pumps, sometimes have problems working when it's sub-zero temperature out, the gas backup will kick in and will provide heat for the senior center. So this projected project cost is a little north of $126,000. The annual savings here is about $3,700. And there's a utility incentive of a little less than $20,000 that we're taking advantage from National Grid. So the final project is gonna be about $107,000, again, all covered by the grant.
And it's quiet.
It's quiet.
Sounds good. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to enter into a contract with Energy Conservation, Inc. for the installation of heat pumps and gas backup at the senior center.
Do we have a second?
Second,
All in favor?
David Dufresne, aye.
Rich Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye. Motion approved.
Thank you.
You have to sign there. There.
Thank you. It's okay. Next, discussion and possible vote to establish a $50 petty cash account for the building department. Anticipated vote.
It's just for stamps and stuff?
Yes.
I have no problem with it.
Yeah.
It's- Yeah, fine.
Sure they don't need 100?
No.
Okay.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the petty cash for the building department in the amount of $50.
Do we have a second?
Second,
All in favor?
David Dufresne, aye.
Rich Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye. Motion passes.
All three sign?
Yes.
Right there at the bottom on the left.
Next, it's an authorization for the town administrator to attend the Massachusetts Municipality Association Managers Fall Conference in Northampton on November 21st, 2024 to November 22nd, 2024, and to also attend the 2025 Connect 351 Annual Conference in Boston on January 23rd, 2025 to January 25, 2025. Anticipated vote. That's really nice.
Thank you.
I hope you can get us a lot of information there.
I will try my best.
Oh, you always do that.
So the annual conference is for Mass municipal managers. It's nice that it's local this year. It's only in Northampton. It's put on by Mass Municipal Association. The 21st, obviously, I would, go there for the conference, but I'll be back here for the special.
Knowledge is power.
Absolutely.
Why does the motion only cover one meeting?
Because I missed the other meeting.
Okay,
Okay.
you gotta do both meetings.
Yeah. I'll make a motion to allow the town administrator to attend the Massachusetts Municipal Managers Association Fall Conference from 11/21 to 11/22, 2024, and the 2025 Connect 351 Annual Conference in Boston on January 23rd, 2005 to January 25th, 2025.
Do I have a second?
Second,
All in favor?
David Dufresne, aye.
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
Thank
Motion
you.
passes and you're authorized to go
Thank you.
and get all that information for us.
All right.
Next, acceptance of a reimbursable state grant in the amount of $2,700 from MEMA Energy Management Performance Grant anticipated vote.
Okay, I'll make a, oh, you can speak on it?
Here comes the,
Hey, Jim McKeon, Emergency Management. This is a grant, EMPG grant. They come every year, they're matching. We're gonna apply for, get some cones. That's what this is for. So, we've done these about every year we get this
Good.
annually. Builds on our emergency management supplies.
any questions or
Nope.
we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the state grant in the amount of $2,700 from MEMA.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
David Dufresne, aye.
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye. Motion approved, sir.
Thank you.
Number 10, discussion on joining an energy regional planning committee with the towns of Spencer, Brookfield, West Brookfield, East Brookfield, and North Brookfield, and a review of their proposed bylaws.
Okay. Jim McKeon, Emergency Management. Since the late summer, August, FEMA has coordinated with a couple towns of Warren, on all Brookfield, Spencer, is doing a regional emergency planning committee. This committee will deal with all hazards within the communities that I just mentioned, to protect public health and safety and environmental, chemical, hazardous issues. We get the reports and stuff of any hazard chemicals within the following towns. Each town has that. We get the reports, emergency management and fire. But with this committee, we'd be pooling all the information together and be able to get more grant money to do training, various different planning
Very
things
good.
between the community. This is the bylaws that the committee is forming. If you guys kind of want to go through it and review it, if you have any questions, reach out to myself, or Adam's going to be the second point of contact in this.
Chief? Fire chief?
Yes, Adam, look up, yeah, fire chief, yeah. So I'll leave for a couple meetings or so. If you have any concerns, get back to me.
How many people are on the committee altogether?
There would be 6 people on the committee. At least 4 have to attend the meetings. We're probably gonna meet, 2 or 3 times a year to go over certain issues and stuff, once we get started. There's no cost to the town in any way either, membership-wise to this. I believe the West Brookfield chief is gonna be the chairman of it. As time goes on, we'll figure out the officers and stuff.
I don't know, I'm good with this. What do you think?
Well, is this gonna be something that's made up equally with all the towns? Or is this something where Warren's gonna dedicate a whole bunch of members to helping out other towns all the time?
It's really not the dedication of members, it's more of just all our hazardous material paperwork at this time. Everything's just gonna get pooled together. We don't really, not gonna really have any more members joining. It's only gonna be a representative from each one of the 6 towns.
Yeah, each town has one representative.
And being It's gonna be named, District 7 West 1 Regional Emergency Planning Committee. That's the,
How do the towns get designated? Just curious.
well, there is some different ones within within the state. You could become your own regional too, but it's, or own planning committee, but it's gonna be much more harder to get started, and that's why everyone seems to be teaming up with five, six
I'm just
towns.
curious, geographically, you're going like in a
They-
triangle.
Well, District 7 is one of the fire districts, so all the fire departments have their own district already. So we're kind of piggybacking off the fire district.
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to understand and learn a little bit about it.
That's fine.
No.
Here to try to answer all your questions.
So this is just to get the, say the department heads together.
Yes.
To work together,
There would be
coordinate.
the emergency managers or fire chiefs in each town, each of these towns.
It's not gonna be where, we would be providing aid to them and taking away from our town as far as like resources and things like
No,
that.
we would be possibly getting, at least sharing the resources.
Well, that's the thing, it's like the sharing of the resources. It's just been recently where Warren seems to be sharing a lot more with other towns, and they're not reciprocating that with us. And I just don't want that to be a thing where we become, say, the region's response, and all our people are doing all the work, and, you know, such as like with fire, and setting things out further and not taking care of our own community when it needs it. But that's not what this is then.
Yeah, this is
This
more-
is just a planning group.
Yeah, this is more of just a planning group. You're not really sharing too much. We're actually, I believe the first step in this is forming an actual real plan, getting an actual person to come in and form a plan, a consultant, and form an actual, to help us, you know, write out a standard plan
Okay.
for the hazardous materials side of it.
Okay. I'm not against that at all, I think it's a great idea. I just would like more input if it turns out to be where we're dedicating people and resources to things. Because, again, at that point, I think some towns could utilize that, and we would be losing our resources and our assets to take care of other people's stuff. Because
It's
they
kind of-
either can't afford it or they don't want to afford it.
So lately, it's been kind of a regional, say, you send all your, like this brush fires, you send all your equipment out somewhere, someone's coming from a little further away to assist you. It's-
Like mutual aid, that's mutual aid.
That's mutual aid in itself.
And I understand that, and mutual aid's fine, you help each other when you need help in a disaster. I just see some towns aren't dedicating certain resources or enough resources to things, and they see where we're doing well,
Nature, yeah.
and they, well, let's just see if Warren will help us, and then Warren keeps on being the one that helps all the time, and instead of them lifting themselves up.
Well, in a sense, that's good, if a town can lend
Well,
a hand.
it can be, but we're the ones paying for it to help every other town, and then they're not paying for it because we help them all the time. And we end up footing the bill, our residents foot the bill for stuff like that. And I just don't want something like that, because when we get into these regional agreements,
Yeah.
I think it's great if everybody puts in to that regional agreement. And I know things like, the animal control thing fell apart, the building,
Hmm.
because it was becoming very one-sided, and there was, a lot of the work was being dumped into one town versus the shared work. When you come together and you share it and you build together, sometimes they say, well, we don't need to do that because Warren got that. So, and that's not what I wanna see.
Well, it seems like all these towns, all the Brookfields and Warren and Spencer, we all kind of work together in big incidents, so might as well plan. Have everything.
Yeah, a planning thing is great.
Jim,
As far as like a regional team like that big,
Yeah, it's,
then I would wanna
Yeah.
reconsider something like that and know more about it, because I'd wanna make sure that other towns are doing their part too.
Jim, you're very good at what you do. You help, you share, but if you start looking at taking advantage of us, raise the flag. That's the only thing that we could ask for. You know,
Yeah, I would
in a
keep
case
you
of an
updated.
emergency, I think it's okay, you know, to help and everything. But if you see that they're taking advantage of our resources, just raise a flag, and we'll try to help.
okay. Yeah.
You have a question in the back room?
Well, not really a question. I want to try and dispel some of David's concerns, because my
Come over
community,
here.
my community was involved in setting this up in Lumsdaw, where I originally came from. Dan Thibodeau, I live at 222 Tom Farm Road, Warren. So I was on the committee. This is more of a steering committee than it is anything.
Okay.
Okay, it's gonna direct the 6 communities together to work on a hazmat program that's gonna combine the hazardous materials in this community, all the participating communities. What is traveling through your communities? A lot of truck traffic comes through here. What's on board that truck? You don't know. Okay, so if you have an accident out in the community with one of these trucks, how are you going to address it? What's your plan to take care of it? Okay, you got a rail system that comes through here. We all know the rail systems have had multiple chemical incidents, okay? How are you going to address it in this community and in the surrounding? That's what the steering committee is doing, it's pulling all this information together, and then at the end of it, they get a consultant on board, usually Time Bond or GEI, to come in and write a hazmat plan that will involve all 6 communities, and what the response is gonna be for, let's say there was an incident here in Warren, who's gonna come to help? Where are you gonna pull it, okay? District 7 has a truck? No. District 6 has a truck, District 8 has a truck. Those are gonna come from those areas to support the incident here. You're not providing equipment to another town, you're not providing resources to another town. It is a steering committee to gather all the information and finally put a plan together that's gonna work for through all of the 6 communities in the area. That's all it is.
Okay, that sounds good.
So, does the committee disband once the plan is set
No,
up?
the committee meets continuously because you always have upgrades that have to be done. The plan is written for 5 years, and you have an upgrade that comes in after that. And it's spot checked by the consultants on a regular basis to make sure there haven't been changes in, like, let's say, leadership of each department that's involved, okay? And the traffic that's coming through the town. It's all counted. They check traffic flow for trucks, for vehicles. They check manifests. They check all this stuff that's supposed to be DOT regulated, that's coming through your communities. Okay, whether it be rail, you don't have any airports in here, so it's not gonna involve any airports. But you got rail and you got truck traffic that come through here quite frequently. Okay, and that's where the bulk of your materials is gonna be traveled on those two transportation systems.
Who pays for the study and
The studies are initially, to get everything going, there's no cost to it. All the communities chip in for the payment for the consultants to come in and do the final hazard assessment
That's all,
written form.
it's all been funded with a grant.
Yeah, it's all funded with
What's that?
grants.
okay,
It's
yeah.
not, there's not gonna be no,
So it's not out of the taxpayers.
No,
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 this is
it's
all
all
gonna
funded.
be grant, once it gets
Okay.
going.
But you will have, there are gonna be meetings coming in here where you know, Warren will sponsor the meeting one month, Spencer another month, West Brookfield, East Brookfield, they'll all have their chances at that steering committee meeting with their individual towns. Okay, and everybody from each town will go to the other towns just to make sure that everybody's on the same page. So everybody has a piece of the pie for
Right.
their specific community. There's a town hazmat plan written for this specific community, as there will be for Warren, and then there will be an overall regional plan written for the entire region of the 6 communities.
Okay. See, now that you explained it that way, it makes more sense. Thank you very much for taking the time to do that. I just, from our experiences.
Yes, and I agree
We've
with
seen
you
other
100%.
towns,
Yep.
they're like, oh, we don't need that because, well, call Warren, have them back that up. And it's like, wait a second here, we're not your fire department. Why don't you guys buy a truck to do that?
Right, and that's not what you're gonna do.
All right.
That's nowhere in this,
Right,
okay?
okay.
There's no purchases you're gonna be making for equipment or people or anything like that. It's all steering committee driven to create a plan for each individual community and all 6 as a regional plan. So, that's in a nutshell.
Yeah, I'm good with everybody sharing.
Yeah.
Just when it becomes, like we said, it becomes all added onto one
Yeah.
specific town, then you're like, hold on here, we're not doing all this work.
Right,
So-
and it's gonna take time to do this, it's not gonna be done in a year. All right, when we went through it in Leominster, it took, I think, Leominster, Fitchburg, Clinton, Sterling, all combined together to do the, Lunenburg, all combined to do this. And you gotta work with this chief's schedule, that chief's schedule, and make it work. So it doesn't all happen within a year's time, it happens over a period of time. So,
Thank you very much.
okay? Thanks.
Thank you, Jim.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, maybe Jim, if I could ask Jim a question. Was there any discussion, Jim, on the fiduciary responsibility for the potential grant or the expenditure of funds in the future? Has that been identified as what town would take on that responsibility?
I believe, well, that would probably get talked about more
Okay.
once these.
I mean, if you could, I mean, we're very limited here in terms of staff and being responsible for that. I noticed that there's another community, Spencer's a little bit larger, they have more
Yeah.
staff. I mean, could you advocate for another community to take on that
Pretty sure it's-
responsibility?
It's gonna be another community.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Like I said, I'll keep everyone updated, it'll be probably in my monthly reports as progress.
Thank you, Jim.
So is this
Good
something
job.
we have to enter into today?
No, I don't
No.
think so.
Or are we
No,
just-
just kind of bringing it to you.
You're just briefing us?
Yes, if
Okay.
you want to review it more, and let me know if you have questions. It doesn't have to be, like Dan just mentioned, it's over a process.
And I'm sure that there's gonna be an agreement that's gonna be drafted
Yes.
up at some point.
There may be one of these towns that maybe not accept something here.
Right.
So maybe maybe going back and forth.
Usually an agreement will come before all the towns and
This is
you'd
just,
have
is
to
just a
sign it.
draft.
So this is just a working draft, so there is
Yeah.
nothing for us to agree to
Right.
yet?
No,
Okay, because it was put here to
you guys.
make a motion to join it, but,
Yeah,
okay.
the talks of, yeah.
Thank you.
All right,
And just make sure everything's equal.
yes.
So,
Well,
thank you, sir.
all right, thank you.
Next, we have a discussion on releasing the town's right of first refusal to purchase 78 Town Farm Road in accordance with the provisions of MGL Chapter 61B anticipated vote.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. So before you this evening is a property located at 78 Town Farm Road. It was in Chapter 61B, and back in 2006, the Board of Selectmen released it from 61B, but never filed the release with the Worcester County Registry of Deeds. So now the individual is looking to sell the property, and needs a clear title to do that. And so the lawyer for the seller of the property had contacted the town, Attorney Berthium's office, and had expressed the need to get this rectified and recorded at the Registry of Deeds.
Catching up? Any
There's already,
questions?
there's already a house on there and everything, and it's,
He just wants to sell it,
yeah,
so we talked about this before.
yeah.
Okay, have a motion.
I'll make a motion to release the town's right of first refusal for property located at 78 Town Farm Road.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
David Dufresne, aye.
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye. Motion passes. Warrants and bills.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to pay the following warrants. PR 15 in the amount of $105,987.33. PR 16 for $117,455.80. AP 17 for $79,137.30. AP 18 for $46,265.26.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
David Dufresne, aye.
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye. Motion approved. Bills.
Make a motion to pay the following bills. Mass Municipal Human Resources for $225. Entray for a total amount of $4,240.04. Amazon for a total amount of $82.74. KP Law for a total amount of $3,669.82. Merrick O'Connell for $3,540. Modern Pest for $108. WB Mason for $15.08. Verizon Fax for $24.08. C2MA Adams for a total amount of $2,284.96. National Grid for a total amount of $317.85. Master Telecom for $93.57. Warren Water District for $179.99. Merlin Leasing Corp. for $1,107.23. SBA Structures LLC for $1,753.85. Hampton Communication Corp. for $1,500. Smith Vocational and Agricultural for $6,949. A. Martin and Sons for $34,166.76.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
David Dufresne, aye.
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye. Motion approved. Minutes. Review and possible acceptance of any meeting minutes. Anticipated vote.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for September 26th and October 17th, 2024.
Do I have a second?
You have to second it.
Yeah.
I was absent.
Second? All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye. Minutes approved.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for October 3rd and October 10th.
Do I have a second? Second? All in favor?
David Dufresne, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye. Minutes approved. It's your turn, Jamie. Town Administrator report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I have a couple things I just want to report to the board, since we haven't had a meeting in a couple weeks. The town, we offered a active shooter training on October 23rd for employees to participate here. It was well attended. I know Selectman Dufresne was there. And the police for Warren, Officer Shea and Detective Moran were both present and participating and making the presentation. They did an excellent job. I just want to thank the Warren PD and Chief Millette for making that happen. I think it was well received by our employees. There were some good questions answered. We got some work to do on some of the stuff that was pointed out in the training, and I'm already working with the chief to address some of the issues that was brought up in the training. But it's good, top of the mind awareness to make sure that our employees are well informed. I'm also working with Selectmen of Belize to make sure and update that Red Dot is on all the computers, that is accessible to people should they need to use it. And we are also working with our IT company to make sure that it's pushed through on our server. There was some updates recently to it, so we're getting that taken care of. Yep.
May I ask for a little bit of your time when you do a board, boards
Mhm.
meeting?
Yep.
It would be nice if I could give them a little
Tutorial?
tutorial,
Sure.
so they are aware of what it means and what it does.
Yep, excellent. Yep, we'll definitely do that. So we had that on the 23rd. I also, on the 24th, attended a Small Town Administrators Association fall meeting, where a whole bunch of town administrators got together in Southwick. We talked about some of the challenges that communities are facing. The challenges that we're facing here in Warren are no different than in some of the other rural communities. And so we were able to get together and chat and talk about some of the best practices, as well as some of the changing laws that are potentially coming down the pike, as well as some risk mitigation for insurances. After that meeting, I did have an opportunity to attend a cyber tech conference with Selectmen IHOCR in Springfield, where it was sponsored by our IT provider, Entree Technologies, and they had some of the latest equipment out there. One of the devices is a potential new OWL system that we could look at potentially getting. We have a demo unit here. We're going to try to get that set up for next week's meeting, just to test it out and try it out. Some other technology that is pretty cutting edge, that has a more of a use of a smart television combined with a whiteboard, where you can just circle things as they come up. If a map comes up, you can pinpoint things, and really, and I think I was impressed, and I don't want to speak for Selectman IHOCR, but I think he was impressed with how some of the pricing has come down on some of these things. You see, an 80-inch smart TV, and you think it's $5,000, but it's only now like $1,800 or $2,000, and it does a lot more technology-wise for video conferencing and getting messages out there and being able to manipulate the screen and stuff like that. So there's some technology out there that's coming down the pike, and we also looked at as we're heading towards doing a computer update for all our town computers. We were looking at some of the newer technology that's out there and kind of getting some feelers out there for the stuff. So we strive to take advantage of some of those initiatives out there. What other things that have been going on since the last time we met? Obviously, I've been working with the Finance Committee. I want to thank Ray, who was here this evening, Ray and all the Finance Committee members for their hard work and their dedication in getting this warrant done. We met a few times. Then we were just saying, well, geez, we have to add something. Something came up. We forgot this. We did this. We think we got it all nailed down, and we were able to come up with a pretty good warrant for the townspeople to really look at and really, see the direction that the town is currently heading. This is not a lot of new spending that's on that warrant, okay? There's a lot of cleanup stuff, some moving, some shifting around, typical stuff. This is less articles than we had last year, not by much, but less. And we're putting a significant amount of money away for savings, which is critically important. The board is being very fiscally responsible when it comes to savings. The initiative that you guys voted on tonight, putting $700,000 away for savings, is the highest that the town has ever done. Everybody should be complimented for that. And so we're planning for a rainy day. I hope it doesn't rain, I hope it doesn't pour, but we're planning for it. And, you know, we have some reserves ready, we're making progress, so if we go to, you know, a credit rating agency for a big project in the future, we can point to, hey, look, we've been doing this, and these are the deposits we've been making, and this is the proof that's in the pudding that we're, you know, that we're seriously taking, you know, seriousness about that. So, you know, that's all good stuff. The town accountant has been very busy with, you know, getting free cash submitted to the state for certification. She submitted all the year-end paperwork on the 29th of October. They've been going back and forth over the last week or so, having questions. DOR has a question about this, DOR has a question about that, providing some additional documentation. We're very hopeful that everything can be cleared up well in advance of the special town meeting on the 21st. We're anticipating and projecting somewhere the free cash to be certified somewhere around 1.29 million for the town. Now, that number includes $100,000 approximately of free cash that was not used last year that got calculated over into the new calculation, as well as some unanticipated revenues that we weren't anticipating collecting that we did collect. So, as well as some departments not spending all of their funds. So, though that whole combination of pot came up with that amount of money. And so, some of the initiatives on the warrant, some cleaning up some things, some taking care of some things, some investing into some of our departments, and putting away money for savings, critically important. If all of the spending items, which we're proposing on the warrant, is a little north of $107,000, if all those items are approved, that would still leave the town with approximately $487,000 in free cash on the table. So in case, you know, if there's a need or emergency to have another town meeting between now and in June, you know, we could go to town meeting and get immediate access to that money, assuming that the townspeople would allow us to have that. It's always good to have that, you know, in case you needed to use it. We don't have to borrow for it. With the high interest rates that are out there now, it's much better to have, you know, cash on hand where you can pay if you need it. So we have that on the table until the spring. I'm sure capital planning will be meeting, as well as departments will be meeting, and I'm sure at the annual we'll have some projects and some other initiatives that we can address with some of that money. But we're going to have that 487, which is still in line with the Department of Revenue's recommendation of about that 3 to 5% that I always talk about of free cash available. That's going to be right there, as well as putting a significant amount of money away in our reserves. We're exceeding that the Department of Revenue's expectations with the deposits that we're making. So we're being very fiscally responsible. I do have my monthly report for the month of October for you guys. I incorporated you know, some highlights from other departments that departments are working on within the report. Just this week, myself, Chief Millette, Chief Lavoie, Lieutenant Whitcomb, and Chief Halligan from West Brookfield, we all sat down and started the interview process to fill the vacant sergeant position at the police department. We have 5 internal candidates that are well-versed in law enforcement and comes from different backgrounds and certifications that we're reviewing. I submitted to the board all of their resumes for your review. Please take the time to, if you have any questions, feel free to give me a call. I'm sure I can get those answered for you. If not, I can certainly consult with the chief. The chief is going to be out on a medical for the next coming up 2 weeks. We're anticipating after that bringing a name forward for the board's consideration in early December, kind of giving you a timeline of where we are in the process. Tonight we were fortunate to fill the vacant position in the clerk's office for the assessors with Gary. We feel as though that he's going to be a great addition to the team here, and it's always nice to find a local resident and somebody that is looking to give back to the community. So it's important that we get the office open more. The assessors have been stepping up a lot with getting, learning some of the functions of the office and getting some training done and hitting some benchmarks with some of the stuff that they need to provide to the DOR. And so it's critically important that we continue to expand the office hours and to have the public be having an accessible office, because there's a lot of people that do come here that are looking for assistance, whether it be a form or an application within the office, and it'd be nice to have somebody there more frequently and more consistently. We're anticipating Gary to be starting next Wednesday, and we're really excited about that. Working on our facilities and working with our facilities custodian Mike Corenzo, we wrapped up a pretty big fall cleanup for the month of September and October. A lot of departments were able to get rid of a lot of obsolete equipment, some just some clutter that's been hanging around for far too long. I know the cable access television was very grateful to having the dumpster that we had out there. They were able to get rid of some of the old equipment that they had, obsolete equipment, that they now got new equipment to provide these services. So they were very grateful for that. We are looking at doing some additional cleanup and maintenance in some of the hallways here in the high trafficked areas with some painting. We had a local painter, Kevin Seymour, who has done some painting projects for the town. I've asked him to provide us with some quotes, and I'd like to bring them before the board to spruce up some of the hallways here that need some painting and some sprucing. So I'm anticipating bringing some information to the board next week on that. We do have money reserved for maintenance of town buildings that was in our budget, as well as a quote from BEC Plumbing to address some minor plumbing issues here. We have a leaky faucet in one of the bathrooms, as well as a leaky faucet at one of the police stations, at the police station, and a hot water heater that is really beyond its useful life and needs to be replaced. So I'll be having those quotes and that authorization hopefully next week before the board, so we can get those projects addressed. Like I mentioned earlier, we're going to have a construction kickoff meeting next week on Tuesday with Green Communities and Energy Conservation and the Senior Center Director to start ramping up for the install of the heat pumps first, weatherization next to follow. But we're gearing up for the STM. We're really excited about some of the projects that we're working on and the grants. I mentioned to David, this afternoon, I got some additional questions from the state on cybersecurity grant that I had asked for. So I'm hoping that their level of interest, that they keep asking that hopefully we'll get awarded that grant, and there again we will be able to save additional money to the taxpayers by using a grant instead of our own money to replace outdated computers here.
Pressed. That's what happens when we missed a couple of weeks. Any questions?
No?
No? Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Good report. Next, we have new business. We already talked about the winter park event. It went into effect on November 1st until April 15th. National Grid will be holding an energy fair on Tuesday, November 12th, at the Senior Center at 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. 4 hours?
Yes.
That's for new business on my side over here. Any new business? No new business? We're good? No old business?
I have some old business.
Old business?
Couple questions. I remember we discussed it in the past, the break room here. We have a shower stall in the break room, and we were talking about putting a kitchen sink in there for the employees to have a kitchen sink, because right now the shower stall is just, they get bags of recyclable cans that are in there, and they're gone now. But there is no need for a shower stall that's never gonna be used here in a kitchen.
Yeah, it was a school, it was showers, and
Yeah,
we don't need a shower here, so.
No, but we talked about putting a kitchen sink there. Can we look at getting a
Yes.
kitchen sink in there for the employees, because, you know, make it a little easier for them? And
That's a
then,
small job, since you're asking for pay for Kevin, ask him too for that.
and then the other thing is, status of the appliances and the upgrades at the senior center.
They're on order. They're on order. So, I placed the order, I think, October 16th with Kittredge, and they said, you know, anywhere between 4 to 8 weeks.
Okay.
Good for no business? Old
That's-
business?
That's what I had.
I do also want to mention to the board, I will also, next week, I know David asked for it, about signs, about the, you know, the signs for the potential locations of a public safety complex. I will have some mock-ups for you to review, you know, next week.
Yeah, they put a picture of what it would look like and the information on it.
Right,
and
so it
we'll put it right there for the sites.
I did mention it to the chiefs as well, and the you know, the Chief Lavoy had some concerns about, you know, the rendering aspect of it, because the rendering, in the rendering that's in the newspaper as well, in today's article, that's the rendering, that's not something that.
It's conceptual.
Yeah, conceptual. That may not look like that, so I don't want to give people a false, you know, misconception.
You just put that on there.
Right.
You annotate that on the sign, so people understand that when they look at it, that's a conceptual design.
Right. His recommendation, and I want to bring this to the board, is to see if we can put the layout on there, the actual layout of where it would be located.
Location of the site?
The layout, the map, the actual layout, the physical building
Site
layout.
plan, the site plan of the project?
Yes.
But it's still
But
a
I think-
concept.
Yeah, I think people want to see what it would look like,
concept.
though. They're gonna see a picture, and I think you disclose that this is a conceptual design and subject to
Mhm.
change.
Okay.
From a
People
study,
will
it's
know.
it's the study, because
Right.
it's not even a
Maybe we
project
can put
yet.
both.
Yeah, and that's,
Yeah, I would
this
see
is what
both.
we would like,
Yeah,
but this is gonna,
yeah.
Well, you said you're gonna bring
Change.
something before they do it, so we
Right,
can
right,
discuss
right.
what it looks better.
Yeah. They had to make some changes to it. They just sent over a draft. This hasn't been finished yet, but the draft is, you know, needs to get some changes
Yeah,
on
that's
it, but
fine.
we'll have something
Just like
for you.
David said, we have to disclosure it's coming from, it's a conceptual design from the
Yeah.
study.
Yeah.
It's not a project yet.
Right.
You know, usually you know, on a project, they will put this is gonna be built here,
Right,
but we're not at that stage yet.
right.
I mean, even the floor plan is conceptual. 'Cause
Everything.
if we actually have somebody design it,
Mhm, yeah,
you know, it may change.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a
So-
study of the needs.
Yeah,
And I did also reach out to the owner of the property at 67, and she verbally gave me the okay, we could put a sign there.
Did
So,
she send you an email at least?
I've asked for an email, so,
Get it in writing.
yeah, yeah. But she seems very nice, and I'm sure she will. I will follow up with her. But I wanted
Even
to-
if you send her an email per our conversation, you said we could do this, are you still okay with that?
Mhm.
If she sends you back an email saying, yeah, I'm good with it, Jim.
Yeah.
say the sign's in the office when we wanna go put it out there.
So I just wanted to update the board on that.
We good?
Yep.
Correspondence.
I have something in my folder from
No,
Corinne,
no.
No.
no?
I put it in, then I was told to take it out. It's yours.
Oh, okay.
I was invited by the kids from the school to do a speech in behalf of the board for Veterans Day tomorrow morning. Then I don't have any other correspondence. Okay. Do we have any comments or concerns? Or
For comments, I just want to commend Lori, Leslie, all the staff that was down, and all the volunteers that were down on election day. They did a phenomenal job. There were a lot of voters, and, you know, I know it's a long day for them, so I just wanted to, you know, to say thank you to them, and thank you to everybody that participated.
echo that. Thank you to everyone.
Yeah, I was very impressed with the turnout. That was amazing. Good to see everybody turn out to vote.
Yeah, almost the same amount of households that we have.
Yeah, I think she was estimating somewhere around 2,600 voters, a little over 2,600.
And we have 1,400 households or something like that, so if you take up couples and,
I thought we had
Kids.
more than that.
Yeah, we had more than that. It was
but it's still a
just
lot.
just under 5,000 residents, so.
And just over 4,000 registered voters.
I thought she said she had about 2,600, a little bit more than 2,600 voters.
Still pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know, I got here a little after 7, and there was still a 20 to 30 minute wait.
yeah, I came earlier with
You were
my,
right behind,
I came before you
Yeah,
with my daughter because she wanted to see the process, and we look at the line, oh no, you gotta do homework, so we.
yeah. I was told it was wrapping around the building at
Yes,
one point,
yes.
yeah.
4 o'clock when I left and drove around the building, it was, well, you know how you walk in and you have to go this way, it was
Yeah.
out the door and up the hill.
Wow.
Very
Have the
good.
That's
results been
impressive. It's
posted, are
good.
they on the
No,
website?
not until Tuesday.
Yeah, it's not there's not an official, she wants to release the official vote,
Yeah.
which will be certified, I think, on Tuesday, right?
It is online now.
Yeah.
It's online. You could go to the
Yeah.
mass voting website
Mhm.
and see what towns voted for what,
Yeah.
so.
Any other comments? David?
No.
Rich?
No,
Well, I was gonna mention the Red Dot training on my list, mention it again. Speaking of the officers that we have to look at, you know well, most of the officers. Do you think doing a meet and greet will help us a little bit, or just reading their resumes?
As far as for the sergeant's position?
yeah, but we're
Well,
not making the choice.
Yeah, we're not making a choice. The selection board is making the choice and then referring it to the select board for an appointment.
Oh, okay.
So they're doing the hiring action, so.
Or rubber stamping,
Good.
Kind of.
kind of,
We're making the official appointment of it.
yeah.
The,
But they're all very good candidates and they're good
Yeah.
police officers in our community, and I wish them all luck. And I think whoever gets it, You know, I hope others respect that, and we can't promote everybody, but we are looking to promote one internally to the sergeant position, and whoever gets it, I'm sure is gonna be the best qualified candidate for that position. And I have utmost faith in the chiefs and Mr. Farrar in that decision.
Okay. Jim, remember I mentioned this morning about a floor plan escape
Yes.
plan?
Yep. Yep. I have to look into that, but we should have something posted. We'll find something.
Okay.
Well,
For
that was
fire.
the other thing from the alerts training. We have to designate a rally point
Mhm.
for the employees, because we don't have anything designated where they go. And we don't want employees all going out different doors and going to different locations.
Mhm.
But I would definitely get with the fire chief and the police chief to identify a safe location so they can do their operations, whether it's an active shooter or a fire alarm.
Mhm.
So all the employees can be safely away.
Okay,
We
so-
started that discussion. Yep.
Oh, good. That's it for me. Nothing else. We'll open to the public. The public, you have any comments or concerns? Peter?
Yes, I do. Pete Krozik, Warren. Can I get a copy of the articles tonight before I go home? A printout of them? Is that possible?
Yes.
I have a concern. At town meeting, we voted down the keyless entry. And it appeared after, so it seems counterproductive to go to town meeting and vote something down that it appears that our vote didn't matter. And it seems that way. By going to town meeting, it should count if we say no to something. So I'm just making a suggestion to the board, you put an article on, we vote it down, because I can tell you, a lot of people are talking about it, that we voted something down, then it appeared that it didn't matter. So, think about it.
Anyone better comment about that?
Just for disclosure purposes, the keyless entry system was used and paid for out of ARPA money. And ARPA money is under the discretion of the Board of Selectmen.
Yeah. And I think the town voted not to spend the money over there, even if it was a good.
Not
thing
to
do.
fund it,
Not to fund it,
Yeah, as opposed to not have it.
but we found the funds somewhere else.
yeah, because it was a good need for the employees to be safe in here.
Right. It was costing too much money rekeying the building every time an disgruntled employee left.
That's real nice, I just click a button.
Yeah, now you just shut them off, and they can't get back into the building.
Yeah. I don't think we'll be able to do anything that the town doesn't want us to do. Okay. Next meeting, November 14, 2024, at 6 PM.
Well, did anybody else have any comments?
I didn't see any hands. Joe?
Joe Conrad, resident. Next Monday will be Veterans Day. And as Memorial Day is remembrance of our dead, Veterans Day is the remembrance of our living veterans. In the past, we've had a Veterans Council that would provide the necessary components, whether it was a simple breakfast or even an award ceremony. Now, Veterans Day, the 11th month, the 11th day, the 11th hour in 1918, when the guns fell silent. In 1919, on the first anniversary of that day, Calvin Coolidge called it Armistice Day. Strange as it may seem, the United States has only had 2 armistice days. The second was in July of 1953 with Korea. We still do not have a peace treaty. It's still an armistice, which is basically a truce in place. Something that maybe a future generation can think about. It was suggested, I believe in 1938 by President Roosevelt, that we change Armistice Day to Veterans Day, as it would have been the 20th anniversary. Eventually, Congress approved of that. We have to think now, because some places in the world it's gone sideways, and sooner or later we may be heavily involved again. I was notified that Germany is considering conscription again. Poland has already done so. If you think about it, we have selective service. And I would hate to see a reactivation of the draft, because you know as well as I do what that means. The rich go to college and the poor go to war. It's something to think about. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Anybody else in public? You don't have anybody on Zoom?
No.
Okay, next meeting is November 14, same place, same time.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Do we have any second?
Second.
All in favor?
David Dufresne, aye.
Rich Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's, and we are adjourned.